Hi, this is Malini. Today I'm going to show you how to make a succulent container garden using full sun to partial light succulents. Let's show you the container. This is a round ceramic container, and the first thing I always do is add a screen on the bottom to prevent any soil from coming through, but allows the water to drain. Next you add a little bit of soil, which is our really good succulent mix that drains well, has no peat moss. Peat moss is too acidic for succulents and it retains too much moisture. So I'm going to add this on the bottom. So you want to just add a little bit of soil on the bottom first. Get a little bit more if you like, depending on, again, how deep your container is. Okay. Next, let me show you some of our full sun succulents. I'm going to start putting these on the cart here so you can see. A lot of these succulents can take full sun to partial light. Now, one of the first ones I want to add is a really unique and beautiful Albuca spiralis, also known as fizzle sizzle. So I'm going to squeeze the pot very gently. Succulents are very forgiving, so it's quite easy to remove them from their container. Okay. So all you need to see is a nice root ball. I'm just going to loosen some of that soil and then add that to the center. Now for a round container, such as one I'm using now, it helps give you that 360-degree perspective. And I'm going to aim for putting odd number of succulents, okay? And I'll explain to you a little bit later why I'm doing that. But let's get this nice, healthy fizzle sizzle in the center, okay? Because that's my center. That's what I'm going to use as my center plant. And you don't want to bury that. You want to make sure that the bulb is slightly raised, but it's okay if it's a little bit low. But it doesn't want to. You want to be able to raise this bulb up here, okay? So that it doesn't have any tendency to rot. Now some of the succulents look a little bit large, so I'm going to replace some of them and see what will work. Okay, and we can actually split some of these. This is why I use some of these, because I can split it and use it for other containers. So this one is a really popular one we have here. This is known as Kalanchoe luciae, also known as a paddle plant or flapjack. So we're going to loosen the soil again, and then I'm going to add this to the edge here, okay? Now succulents don't mind if it's a little bit crowded. It's fine. They'll still have a chance to grow, but you have a nice finished look. The next one I'm going to add is known as a donkey's tail, sedum donkey's tail. This is a hanging plant. I'm going to actually see if I can split it so that we have a little more room for the succulents to grow, but still give you that nice finished look. And this is a nice trailing succulent. Okay. Now I'm going to add another succulent in the center. This one is just an echeveria hybrid. There are a lot of different echeverias, and it's a blooming one too. It's a nice yellow flower. I'm going to put that in the front of the albuca. So that's your nice little rosette that goes low to the ground, but still has a nice little touch to the garden. A nice little, see, a little rosette kind of balances everything out. Now I need something to the edge here. This is a really popular one and a great, hardy, easy to care for Echeveria harmsii or a red velvet. I'm going to put that to the edge here. A nice blooming one. So I'm going to add this is a nice orange to yellow bloom. Okay. So we just add more soil around it. Now, as you see here, I have some room in the back, and I'm going to add some more succulents to the back here. One of the really nice full sun, very hardy succulents is another Crashla species. And it's a beautiful bloom, as you see here, a yellow flower. I'm going to split that. See, I just split it because I'm not going to add the whole thing. I do want it to look full when people want to purchase it here, but you still need room for the succulents to grow. So that's going to go in the back, since that's going to give you that height. I'm going to add another one. This is a kalanchoe, really pretty kalanchoe with nice reddish edges here. Again, as you see here, I'm splitting it so you can see that you can actually split succulents, put it in different containers, and again, succulents are quite forgiving. They don't mind being, when you have like a 4-inch container, it doesn't matter if you want to split it, you can put it in different containers. Okay. Now the one thing I want to add here is another succulent in the back here, so I have a little bit more room. Now, as you see here, I have a giant string of buttons. It's in the Crashula family. That can go in the back. I also have an option of putting this beautiful purple heart. This is also a full sun succulent. It's more of a trailing succulent and will give you a different look. Okay. But I'm gonna actually see what works. I might take something out. We're gonna see what works first. You actually, sometimes before you take it out of the container, you can kind of judge it by basing it just by putting it against the container with other succulents. A nice, really purple color. You know what? I'm gonna choose this one because I really like the lavender dark purple color. It's really pretty and it adds more brightness and more of a vibrant look. Okay. Again, I'm gonna split it because it's a fast-growing succulent, but with other succulents, it tends to go a little bit slower, so I won't outgrow the pot. So you just keep pressing down. And you might add a little more soil, but make sure you don't completely fill the container with soil on the top. You want to leave room for some top dressing. And top dressing is great because it has two purposes. One, it helps stabilize the container and the plants when you're watering. And of course, the obvious one is to give it a nice decorative look. For this type of container, I love to use my favorite top dressing is known as white coral. Okay, and we're gonna add that to finish off this really pretty garden. And you just add a little bit of thin layer on the top of the soil. You know, another tip when you're planting succulents is to plant when the succulents when the soil is somewhat dry. It's a little easier to manage instead of having plants that are already watered and the soil gets a little bit hard to sort of manage and to plant the rest of the succulents. Okay, so I'm just getting a little more rocks. You just kind of brush off any rocks that are inside the plant, which is what I'm doing right now. And keep pressing down. I'm using my fingers, but you might have like a dowel or a stick or any other garden tools that you have at home that might help. But using your fingers is just as useful. So this is a beautiful succulent container garden that you can put outdoors in full sun, water about once or twice a week in the summer, and in the wintertime, it's about once a week. This is not the best ideal succulent container garden for indoors. It needs lots of bright light, natural air circulation. But this is a great succulent that you can make yourself or give as a gift to a friend. Thank you for watching.